Broadcasting live from an Airstream somewhere in Tornado Alley, bringing you the people, places, and stories from the Panhandle to the Red River. This is your Only in Oklahoma show.
And welcome to the show. Today we're discussing the secret of the Skull Hollow Nature Trail in Oolagah. And later, we're all getting a raise. And by a raise, I mean no taxes on $6 eggs. I'm Brett.
And I am Harley.
Speaking of eggs, I had a granddaughter.
You did. So, I think maybe we're competing.
With what? Wait.
There's competition here.
Are there warring factions?
Yes, there are warring factions.
The maternity ward?
No, there are warring factions of who's older.
Right. I'm doing everything you're supposed to be doing right now.
So, you're on your, ninth grandchild.
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I bought a lot of baby vans in the last 5 years. Let's just put it that way.
But I am apparently the star at the top of the mailing list,
right,
for the ARP.
You're closer to the free coffee than me.
No, I'm already approved
for coverage.
Hit the requirements.
Wow, you checked all the boxes.
Yes.
But the difference is, when you said apparently, I was going to say apparently you're still a parent while I'm a parent and a grandparent. Life isn't fair.
9 times over now.
But this is what I'll say. You want the difference between your kids and mine? My son and I we don't read the box. We skipped class the day they did the freaking banana demonstration where the thing in the reservoir tip stuff. We missed the whole class on how not to have kids.
Yeah, I can see that. Since you and your son are both kicking out kids at an incredible rate right now.
Dude.
There's been a whole lot of political talk lately about the declining birth rates in the United States. And I'm just wondering if they haven't caught up with you and your son yet.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say it. I've said it 1,000,000 times, which also 1,000,000 is, there's 1,000,000 little swimmers that get a shot. You get one. They're the M&M. They got one shot. Don't blow it. You know what I mean? Like your mom's spaghetti and all that stuff. Sorry, that was stupid. Take it out. You won't, though.
No.
Okay. I've went 23 years dodging freaking bullets like Neo in the Matrix. And then all of a sudden it's like, bing, pow, pow, bullseye, twice. I can't explain it. I'm not supposed to make kids at 46. But to be fair, Jerry Lewis had a kid at 80. Pacino just had another kid. De Niro's popping them out. So, I mean, fathers are getting older. You still have a chance.
No, I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done.
I'm never getting my surgery reversed. But I don't know if it's still working or not. I don't know the rules of, and this is probably, I don't know how we keep this in, but now on the subject, you're supposed to go back for a recheck to make sure it's just zombie land in there. You know, I haven't done that. So I don't even know. I don't know if, there's still some holdouts. We'll never know.
Well, I have no good way to segue into the actual show.
Well, yeah.
So I'm just gonna
jump in.
Gonna rum rush this. I'm just gonna roll right into this. So today's episode is about the Skull Hollow Nature Trail in Oolagah at Lake Oolagah.
Right.
And Oolagah, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, is the birthplace of Will Rogers.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that Will Rogers is known for quite a few sayings, one of which is, if you don't like the weather.
Yeah.
So when I had started doing when I started working on the show, it was 90 degrees.
Right.
And I was all hyped on doing some hiking.
Yeah.
And by the time we get around to recording, it's, I don't know, 2 degrees outside? My fingers are frozen from an hour ago walking outside.
You were not complaining. I don't want to say complaining. You were commenting that your hands were cold, which was a perfect opportunity. I could have came right in with, hey, old man, I made an old man joke, but I didn't. Because it's chilly. Okay? We've had 70 degrees every day. And then all of a sudden it's back to winter. I love the cold, but man, give us something we can live with for more than 24 hours.
I'm worried about my trees.
Are you really?
Yeah, they all started blooming.
Yeah, there was a lot of trees that went into bloom, And I don't know if I would consider it a hard freeze last night, but it
was cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm concerned that we're going to end up with one good freeze before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, the Skull Hollow Nature Trail, it's definitely off the beaten path. This region was once the largest district in the Cherokee Indian Territory, and the name Skull Hollow came about when the area, still Indian Territory, a Texas cowman had come through with a herd of cattle. He had thrown a shoe, or his horse had thrown a shoe, so he had to go to the local blacksmith.
Yeah.
The blacksmith didn't have change, so he said he would come back, and he never did. His horse was found.
But how much change? What would it cost to either shoe the horse or make another horseshoe? He didn't have change. What, 50 cents back then probably to have his horseshoe made?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But he mysteriously disappeared. But later, they found a skull in what is now known as Skull Hollow.
Well, his skull was hollow too.
Well, I mean, probably.
I'm sorry,
eventually.
Dumb. See, this is why we can't do more than a 30-minute. I mean, honestly, we can't sustain more than 30 minutes of real facts.
As far as the trail goes, though, this is a gorgeous part of the state. The trail itself, I think, deserves a little bit of credit.
Sure.
You have 3 different trails to choose from. There's a short loop, a long loop, or what they call the hiking trail. It's an easy trail. I think the total time for the whole thing is like under 30 minutes. It has just about everything that you would want on an afternoon hike.
For sure.
There's solitude, there's shade, gorgeous views.
Oh, yeah.
But the secret to this whole thing is it comes right out on a cliff overlooking Lake Oolagah.
That's cool.
Yes.
Picturesque. It's like, it probably reminds you of like a Louis L'Amour novel cover.
I kind of get the vibe that you feel a little bit like Frodo. It's
like you're looking over the kingdom, basically, or the Shire, or the lake.
It's all pristine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. But the long loop is 3/4 of a mile in length. It has a whole lot of different points of interest along the path. So some of the nature trail points of interest, they have a tree cross section with the growth rings where you can kind of see
the age
and the weather patterns of the climate of the region. And this tree is older than dirt.
Right.
As far as the understory along the trail goes, you're going to see a lot of redbuds, which I don't know if you're aware of this or not.
Yeah.
But the redbud is
the state tree.
Official state tree.
Yeah.
Since 1937.
But it feels like the state tree is the Bradford pear because it wants to kill all of us. I never thought that we would have an allergy to a Bradford pear. That's a thing. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. When they bloom, I guess they have I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's a science behind it. We're not going to talk about it, but they're pretty to look at. Redbuds are pretty to look at, but redbuds aren't trying to kill us. It's the freaking Bradford pears. They've just recently, in the last few years, added Bradford pears to the allergen list.
Yeah, I'm not. I actually despise the Bradford
because it does nothing.
Because it breaks every time the damn wind blows.
It breaks.
It's the weakest tree on the planet.
And what really qualifies it as a pear tree? Is it the bloom?
No, it is actually a pear tree. It just doesn't produce pears on purpose because it's decorative in nature. They bred them to be pretty and to grow fast. And to be good landscaping trees so they don't have fruit.
Gotcha. They're just accents.
They also break every time the wind blows, and if you've got a couple of Bradford pears in your yard, they end up looking like snaggly teeth.
Right. Anyway, sorry. Redbuds are superior. That's the moral of the story.
I like the redbud.
I do too.
But as far as the trail goes, it's popular with birders, hikers. It's a good running trail. Dogs are welcome on the trail as long as you keep them on a leash. And if you have dogs that like water, there are a couple of good entry spots where your dog can get...
Oh, I thought about that for a second. I was like, dude, most dogs do like water. But then I was like, oh, they like to swim.
Right.
Oh, that's right, dude. I feel like sometimes people think that I drink. Like, they like water, Dad. I'm sorry. I've become that. I'm the wingman that flunks the drug test. I'm sorry.
Hawthorne Bluff Campground is where the trail is located.
Mm-hmm.
It is operated by the Army Corps of Engineers. It's a nice campground. It really is. But this trail takes cake, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And just the views, man. And I like that. Again, it's one of those places, we've talked about hiking trails like this before, that they've got your beginner, they've got your intermediate, and they've got your seasoned hiking trails. So it covers the gamut of hiking aficionados to rookie.
I think you're probably going to be hard pressed if you are on the upper echelon of the hiker scale to get on this trail. You're gonna have to go off road. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a short trail overall. Some warnings though. There are a lot of plants and animals on these trails that you got to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
Don't eat anything on the trail that you're not familiar with. You may encounter some snakes, some venomous snakes, some stinging insects. So be careful, obviously.
Some woodland elves, some fair.
This is one of those situations where you want to take care of what we have.
Yes.
So anything you bring onto the trail, make sure you bring it back out with you.
Leave it the way you found it.
Take pictures.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Don't leave your freaking beer cans laying around. Nobody hikes and drinks. It doesn't end well.
But if you are interested in taking a hike on the Skull Hollow Nature Trail, we will include a link in the show notes with all of the pertinent details.
Yeah, take a hike. Like, seriously, go. Well, coming up after the break, we've got a rated G news story. G is for groceries.
I'm Raven Rollins, and this is my Southern True Crime podcast where I discuss cases from my former hometown. Ada, Oklahoma paints itself as an average community, but its history of murder and corruption runs deeper than any story has ever told. You'll hear plenty of special guests, including authors and experts in their fields, who visit with me on each episode, as well as other cases in the southern states. With notorious and unknown cases alike, every victim sees the light on my show. This is Sirens, a true crime podcast.
So our news story today from News 9, Oklahoma's own In Focus state grocery tax cut. The law is set up to go into effect in August, eliminating the state's 4.5% sales tax on groceries.
I don't even know what to think about that. I was kind of reading, because at first I thought it was a meme, because all the news story shows like it was a thumbnail of like a receipt, and I was like, is this a real thing? So I didn't really dive too deep into it myself, because I'm always kind of suspicious of, okay, what's the catch? But apparently this is a move that very few states in the country, are very many states even considering anything like this? It seems like a relatively new concept.
It is to a degree. There are some states that do it, but I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
Governor Stitt signed it into law just the other day, Tuesday, and it's going to completely remove the state's grocery tax, but the city and counties will still have whatever tax they have in existence. And this law, like I said, is going into effect starting in August. It cleared the Oklahoma House of Representatives in March, but the Senate didn't approve it until February of this year.
Huh.
But
I don't. It just feels like it's almost too good to be true.
Well, according to Senate Pro Tem Greg Treat, he says the tax cut is going to save the average Oklahoman $400 a year.
I mean, that's a pretty big chunk of change. Because, I mean, considering grocery folks, they're not going to freaking go back. We're not going to be paying 99 cents a dozen for eggs. Like, it's just not going to happen. And the people that are out there pushing for $50 an hour minimum wage, you guys are idiots. But what I will take is, I'll take a break on the groceries, especially if you've got a family of four, and I mean, groceries aren't cheap. Yeah, give me a tax break for F steak.
Right, and I guess to your point where you're concerned about where's this money going to come from?
Yeah, where's the money coming from?
Basically, Treat said that this is one of those situations where we need to make sure as a state that we're not spending beyond our means.
Right.
So, obviously, if we have a surplus in tax revenue, then them cutting this tax back won't hurt as long as we continue to have a surplus of tax money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, there was an emergency measure on this bill that would have allowed the measure to go into effect immediately. Apparently, the Senate did not approve that portion, so this is something you're going to have to wait till August for. But again, I think it's a great deal.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I was thinking about this a little bit ago. People are going to be splitting hairs about what's considered, you know what I mean? It's like we were talking last week about essentials. What do you consider the essentials? Bread, milk, water, eggs. With grocery tax, there's so many that I don't know. It's almost like that's a pretty big umbrella. But what's excluded from that?
So according to the bill, the best I understand it, it will cover all food bought at a store, excluding ready to eat food.
Right.
So it wouldn't cover restaurants, and it wouldn't cover buying prepackaged food from the deli.
Oh, okay.
Fruit bowls, that sort of thing. And it also does not include alcoholic beverages or tobacco products.
Jeez. You're just going to see just electrical fires at the self-checkout register because they don't know how to count. The register's like, cannot compute tax, no tax. It's just going to be a freaking... it's just going to be a malfunction.
I think it's got to be... I think the smaller companies are going to have an issue with it to a degree.
Yeah.
But most companies, there are already policies, procedures...
kind of ready just to hit the button kind of situation.
Because, the POS companies that handle all of those businesses work in states with different tax laws.
You're right.
So I think it's going to be relatively easy transition. I think your big box stores are going to be right on top of it, and I think you might have to talk to the manager a couple times on your local.
At Aldi, maybe not. No, probably not.
I wouldn't
Aldi.
say Aldi.
Yeah,
but some of the local companies,
your Save-A-Lots and Smart Savers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great. I mean, $400 a year. When you think of it in the grand scheme of things, when you're doing the math, you're like $400 a year. That's not much, but it's not a drop in the bucket either.
And it's also average. I think if you ask most people what their grocery bill is, it's got to be up there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you're talking 5%. That's $5 out of every $100.
Dude, it's $200 bill every time I go to the grocery store every 2 weeks. Now, granted, there's a lot of incidentals in there. But there's also some bonuses in there I could probably shave off. But it's still not cheap. It doesn't matter what you do. No. I mean, you pull me a basket up with $70 in groceries in $19.99.
Oh, yeah. No,
we're not even in the same ballpark anymore. So.
Absolutely. I'll include a link in the show notes to this news story from News 9. A little bit more, there's some more details in there if you're interested.
Well, dude, we have been popping lately. Happening.
We have a whole lot of feedback.
We've got a ton of feedback. We've got a ton of interactions. And we'll thank everybody. We'll thank all 13,364 followers at the end of the show. It'll be our longest outro in show history. But feedback's popping.
For sure. Starting with a little bit of feedback from Julie Adams.
Jules of the Nile. That's going to be her. That's it. That's her new handle. We had Big Mother Trucker. Now we've got Jules of the Nile.
Of Denial?
Jules of Denial. yeah, that's it. Jules of Denial.
She said she was listening to the Orr Family Farm episode, and, quote, this is like listening to Jack and Ron or KJ103 back in the 90s.
I'm telling you, bring it.
I think that's a great compliment.
Yeah.
I'm pumped on it. I'm not sure that we're going for that, but I definitely felt like those were fun shows.
Listen to me. Radio peak for me.
1994.
94. Yeah, because think about, I was talking to somebody, when KJ when all the radio stations were at the fair, and KJ used to have the thing where you put your hand on the car, and if the last person standing would win the car, or they had to stuff each other in the car. I mean, all the radio station promos, the cool events, DJs being out in public, bumper stickers. If you didn't have a KJ bumper sticker or the new cat sticker or the new cat calendar, you were a freaking square, dude. I miss the bygone era of radio. I got into radio late. It didn't last as long as I wanted, but radio was still cool. But man, 90s cool. Early 2000s cool. Not even close.
So we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
We have a follower
That's yet to
on Rumble that goes by JW Racing 77, and we have no idea who this person is.
Wait a second. I think I have the answer, but go ahead.
Every time we see it, we always ask who it is, but he commented on our last show. Great show, applause, thumbs up signs. Thank you, JW Racing, whoever you are.
Do you think it's a coincidence that the next piece of feedback is John Allen Walker?
I don't know.
I think I feel like what's going to happen with JW Racing now and John Allen Walker, now that I've brought it into the multiverse, the next time I come in, you're going to have the wall covered with like Twitter this and strings
It's
tied.
going to look like a serial killer
dude,
wall.
seriously, like True Detective, like Russ did in True Detective.
I'm just going to say JW Racing 77.
He's my age.
Maybe.
Well, or he's 77 years old.
Or
I
maybe
doubt
his
it,
favorite starting hand at poker is pocket sevens. I have no idea. Make yourself known, JW Racing
Yours
77.
truly. Why end it with yours truly?
No idea.
Well, anyway,
But you are trying to say that it's the same
I
as
think
John
it's
Allen
John
Walker.
at the bottom.
I'm going to say no damn way.
How?
Because
JW.
Racing says great job, gives us a thumbs up and a waving sign. John Allen Walker writes a book.
Yeah, but would you do both?
No.
If you wanted to...
No, you're either one person
Well,
or
I know,
the other.
but the Zodiac Killer did the same thing.
No, he wrote the crazy letters.
What about Mothman?
What?
What about the Mothman guy that would call him? Like, you know, he'd call and the guy talked to him on the phone.
No.
How do we know this isn't? How do we not know that? What's the word I'm looking for?
I have no idea because you're crazy.
What? Okay, well, if you have, how do we know this isn't a pseudonym for something?
We don't. I just don't think it's the same person because they don't leave the same type of comments.
Why would they? If they wanted to have it, stop. It's just a second. I wanted. If they wanted anonymity,
you would write completely different on every comment that you made on Rumble than you do on YouTube.
I just think it's odd that John Allen Walker, JW, I'm looking him up. I'm going to find him.
Okay.
Okay.
So John on YouTube said that he ate at the local and he has some complaints about your opinions versus his. He said he made the mistake of getting the chicken fried steak. The portion was microscopic compared to other restaurants. He said the gravy was homemade, but it had spices that he didn't approve of. And he feels like there was some pretentious, freshly graduate of the CIA that leaned the steak on the mashed potato. Oh, okay. He said there was also some pretentious person that leaned the steak artfully onto the mashed potatoes. He was disappointed. He paid and walked out. He says he loves our show, though.
Hey, here's the thing. Johnny. That is your name, right? Johnny?
No, his name is John.
It's actually JW. Anyway, JW, I hope you win your next race. We're on to... I'm following you closely. There's a rumbling that you may be John Allen. But Johnny, JW, whatever you go by, I don't think I upsold the chicken fry. I do agree with some of it. What I will say about the chicken fry is the breading did kind of come off a little. I like when the breading doesn't crumble or come off the meat when you that's when you cook it too long. You fry it too long when the breading comes off. I do think there was some pretentious picture taking. It might have been by me.
But he ended his note with, as far as the show's concerned, I love it. You guys seem like regular folks. I appreciate it, John.
Yes, JW,
Mr. Walker.
JW, I appreciate your feedback. And good luck on your next race.
Lastly, Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell reached out.
Wait a second.
Yes?
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell reached out on Instagram, and in reference to last week's news segment about the film industry and the fact that Stallone took his Tulsa King to a different state, he said that he is working on the film bill. With the tax cuts, I've got some members hesitant to raise the cap, though. Keep you posted.
Listen, we cannot make this up. Matt Pinnell has been a loyal follower of the show since we interviewed him. What?
He's been a loyal friend of the show.
He's a friend of the show. We're
Let's
following him.
downgrade
No.
Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell.
We've been loyal followers of Matt Pinnell since he was elected.
Yes.
He's done some. Dude is badass. He's done some killer.
If you follow Matt Pinnell on the socials, you will be shocked at how much this guy does in any given week. I do not know how. He'll be in the Panhandle at 9 a.m.
He'll be panhandling at 10.
Having lunch at the Red River, the same day.
Right.
Cutting a ribbon in downtown Oklahoma City.
I saw him kiss a baby and cut a ribbon at the same time.
And apparently he can make really good chicken fried steak. That's what I heard.
I wanted to say Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Matt Pinnell has space legs.
Space legs?
I can't remember if that's what. You've got magic. Oh, he's got magic legs because he can do everything. Matt, that's Forrest Gump.
I understand the reference. It
doesn't track here?
I don't think that you nailed you didn't stick the landing on that one, bud.
Anyway, Matt, you want to talk about elected officials that on average age 20 years in their first 2 years? Matt Pinnell gets better with it.
I'm going to have to say, and then we've got to get off the subject because
it's going to sound like we're fanboying over Matt Pinnell.
I have to say that
Lieutenant Governor, but you know what I mean.
I think that Matt Pinnell is probably the only politician on the planet that nobody dislikes, or that nobody dislikes.
I've never heard
a bad word about him.
Because here's the thing about it. You need to stop with this tourism stuff, man. We don't need another place to go hang out. Get out of here. People get mad about that.
But that's not his whole job. He's the lieutenant governor of the state.
Well, I get it, but he also, he's
a champion of the travel and tourism in Oklahoma. Yes.
People, you're leaving Oklahoma to go do stuff at Great Wolf Lodge. Seriously? Matt Pinnell's busting his ass, and you guys are headed to freaking, I don't know what you're doing. Get your head in the game. Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell is here for you. Paid for by. If you listen, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if any of our listeners have spotted Matt Pinnell out in the wild, we're all for pictures.
Yes,
let us know if you caught him flipping flapjacks at Sherry's Diner.
If you find Matt Pinnell, tell him you heard about it on the OnlyinOKShow, and he'll give you 10% off of whatever he has to offer. He might have a bumper sticker. I don't know. He's got to have some souvenirs laying around.
As a revenue source for the OnlyinOKShow, I wonder if we could get authorization for Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell bobbleheads.
Dude.
We could sell the hell out of those.
Signed by us and him. They're like, who's this? What's these two signatures? Well, if you have feedback, because you see it's working. You see, the Lieutenant Governor has feedback. If you have feedback, there's a bunch of ways to play, but the best way to play for you today, email us your feedback. Email us where you want us to go eat donuts. Email us and tell us about jean shorts. It's a thing. People want to.
It's not. Nobody wants to know. Please don't email us about jean shorts.
But if you want to do that, it's real simple. OnlyinOKShow@gmail.com. Listen, we are trying to up the ante, up the production value, up your taste of Oklahoma. And we can't do it without you. Let us know what you think. OnlyinOKShow@gmail.com. As always, thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. It's you. You're why we're here. And as long as you're doing what you're doing, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. This has been the OnlyinOKShow. New episodes every week without fail. I'm Brett.
And I'm Harley. And we're out of here.
Peace. When's the last time, if ever, as long as I've known you, have you ever worn jean shorts?
You need to turn off your,
I did.
I'm sure that I have worn jean shorts.
But when?
That would have probably been
early aughts? Before that.
I'm going to say night.
Now, were you one of the things to do back in the 80s was tight rolling your pants. But do you remember or know anyone that tight rolled their jeans? That was a thing. And I think it was a thing in the 90s. But you would tight roll, I think it was mostly in women, but you would take your, like the process of tight rolling your pants and do the same thing but with shorts. I can't tell you the last, I think it was I'm with you. It was 1994 was the last time I wore a pair of jean shorts. I hate jeans. I cannot stand jeans. Do you like jeans? I don't like jeans. I'll tell you why I don't like jeans. My number one reason. There are very few things. Now, and what I'm about to say may be considered insensitive, but there are very few things besides my tribal ID card that identify me as a Native American. The other thing is I have zero abs. It's a thing. Look it up. It's well documented. Native American men, especially, it's all back in a crack. My dad, all back in a crack. I think you can't wear jeans properly. You're not doing jeans justice, which is weird because I think there's a jeans company called like True Justice or something. I don't know what it is. You're not doing jeans justice for jeans if you don't have a butt, dude.
It is points like this. It's occasions like this where you and I are in a room together and you're saying words and
I knew this would happen.
People just hear crickets coming from my side.
I knew it.
It's because all of my communication is happening non-verbally. I'm just
looking at me like, what's happening?
Describe the situation. I'm pretty sure I'm the most confused looking that I've ever been in my entire life.
Was it the justice for jeans part?
All of it. The entire spiel.
Are you kidding me? What's
you randomly come up with things and then you throw it at me. Are you chewing gum?
No, it's a peppermint. I'm trying to get it. I'm not trying not to chew it up, which leads me to my next thing.
Yes, I can hear it.
Do you suck a sucker or do you chew one?
I'm not 5.
So you suck a sucker until it's to the stick.
No, I literally haven't touched a sucker since the 80s.
Kojak was an adult and sucked suckers, man.
And was that before or after the 80s?
It was before, slightly.
Exactly.
Or maybe a little bit into the 80s. Telly Savalas could get away with sucking his thumb. He was a cool dude. But the thing about it is, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I couldn't tell you. Because
I wonder how many kids would have any clue what the hell you're talking about.
None. Can you even get Tootsie Pops?
I'm sure.
At a corner store.
I'm sure. Hell, they probably still have them stocked from the 80s.
I don't think they go bad. No, wait. They do. What happens is they start to get kind of soft. You know what I mean? They'll get a little bit of a soft outer shell that eventually you get to the hard part. But here's the thing. This is what I heard. They still make them. But you remember when we were kids, if you found one with a star on the wrapper, that was a free sucker.
I don't remember.
Yeah. They don't do that anymore. Remember Twisted Pepper? They don't do that anymore either.
I remember there was a point in time where you could swap out your Vans if they got damaged. If the rubber sole on your Vans broke,
they had a lifetime warranty.
Send it in and they would replace your damn shoes.
I think
now they laugh at you if you even bring up that policy.
Well, and the other thing too is they don't make them
oh no, they're garbage now.
Well, and the thing is, they made guarantees like that because they knew it was a rare occasion. They weren't getting like truckloads full of reject, Vans.
Well, and they were making them out of quality material back then, and now they're made by
10-year-olds in Malaysia now, whereas back then
they were made by 10-year-olds right here in the U.S.
in
of A.
California. Yeah, skateboard kids. But yeah,
okay.
I don't like jean shorts. I don't like jean shorts.
Ready to rock though?
Yeah, but I don't like jean shorts. I don't have a drink, Daddy. I know got a drink, Daddy.
Hey.
Said, go and do your own podcast, man. Don't worry, boy, it'll be alright.
3, 2, 1.
'Cause I took that same walking and now, boy, I've been in your shoes. But you can't hold back and the time is just something you gotta do. 'Cause Harley, are you trying to smudge? That's not enough, dude. You need to like the whole thing. You know what? We never smudged after the witch thing.
I'm burning some sage up in this mofo, hoping that it kills whatever demon's coming out of you right now.
Why are you doing it like it's a roach clip, dude? It's
I was just trying.
Willow Sage is my granddaughter's middle name. Or Sage is my granddaughter's middle... God. My granddaughter... What's funny? Go ahead.
No, we can save it. Start the show. Start the show.
Save it.
Start the show.
Works now.
Start the show.
Start the show. 3, 2, 1. That smells really good. I can smell the demons coming out. 3, 2, 1. I had it, man. 3, 2, 1.